Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to X Studios, as today I'm going to show you how I made the remake of Meduza featuring Dermot Kennedy, Paradise. This track is really cool, and I would like to let you know that even if you don't have any particular gear, just using some serum and some very good samples, you can achieve these results. So let's dive into the project. So the overall track sounds like this. Then we go later to the second part, because at the first part I was focusing to find a very good kick, not too punchy, not too heavy, just to add a little bit of, flawless that can be useful for this kind of track. At the beginning I used this kick, which is from Vandalin's Future House, I think. And it sounds very punchy, but with my special treatment, it's now sounding like this. So I added a little bit of EQing, just cutting down to 4000 Hertz, erasing this part, which is useless, then EQ'd a little bit on the punchiness, so I've EQ'd on the 60 Hertz, a little bit enhanced bass. Then I've put a transient plus, just to cut out all the punch that you have in the original one. So if before my treatment it sounds like this, now it sounds like this. Very smooth. And then I found out that in the original track I've heard a tom making a little bit of movement with the kick, which sounds like this. The tom is in the same key of the track, so with the kick it sounds like this. And as you can see, as you can hear, the feeling is really good, even with the kick and this tom, which is making more space into the groove. Then I'll go with the main sound of Meduza, which is this sound. And this sound is really easy to find on the web, because there are a lot of sample packs now which are playing the sounds of Meduza, but this is how it sounds. It has a bipolar harmonic and a basic shapes, both with 7 or 8, I think. I don't think that makes a lot of difference. Both detuned. Then the difference is made by this envelope here, which I've put on the cutoff on the filter, but I've cancelled it because I didn't like it too much. There is a little bit of noise here. It's a bright white noise which made a little bit of transient making his way. Then I've put some compression with a multiband, some flanger here, the chorus, delay, reverb and EQ. Sometimes it's better to have a little bit of delay before adding your own delay on the chain. So I directly used the delay and reverb from Serum, because I thought it was better to use instead of making another chain. So basically without delay and reverb it sounds like this. And it stopped a little bit. And this is with the delay. So in the end I've added some EQ for these parts here, a little bit of distortion with the Camel Crusher, and also a decapitator, which it works really good, especially if you have to increase the harshness of your tracks. Then again, I've EQ'd. I always EQ a lot, especially when I use distortion. These frequencies were a little bit annoying. Then a little bit of OTT with a 60% depth and a bit of harshness on the height. Then I added a super VHS to put some magic on it, but no drift on the pitch. Just I like the way this plugin made
the presets stand out. And then a little bit of kickstart, 39%. I thought that it will be 40, but just my mistake. But as you can see, 1% doesn't make the difference. So in the end, we have this sound and a sustain sound, which I made with Solina, which is one of my favorite Arturia plugin. And it's a preset called Tremolendi 1. And it's playing all a chord, which is the main key of the track, and with an automation on the volume on the second part, which is increasing its volume, and it sounds like this. Very, very smooth, but you can feel it in the overall track. For the bass, we have a little bit of mess, but it's a good mess with the frequencies, because I started with this sound here, and I've made an envelope on the sustain here. So the sustain is going up and the sound's making a good noise overall. The sound is always with the serum, is a basic oscillator here. And the same envelope I've used into the main sound, because the release has to be pretty similar. And I process with the compression and distortion, a little bit of filter, in which I thought I've used a LFAO, but I didn't like it at all. So it's all pretty basic for these sounds. What makes the difference are the processing. I've cut a bit of the high, I've made a little bit of reverb, then I've cut it on the bass, so I've cut it in between, I've put the reverb, then a little bit of distortion, which is affecting the reverb too, so even the reverb has some spicy frequencies. Another EQ, this time with the EQ of Ableton, and then a kickstart again at 39%. So this is not enough, of course. I had to have a sub bass, which is really, really, really heavy this time. It's a basic shape here with this position here on the table, and then nothing more, nothing less, just a little bit of compression and distortion and a filter again. So basically it's the same presets that I've used here, just with the changed wavetable. And the sub is processed as always with an R-bass mono, and then with a longer sidechain made with shaper box, which is interesting because I can modulate it on my own tastes. Then I add another harmonic presence here, which I find in one of my 7, 8, 9, 10 packs, which I always suggest to you. And it's basically a Reese, which is making this sound. And it's helping the sub bass a lot. Also with a little bit of super VHS, adding some magic, and a little bit of EQ in mid-side. So all the center of this bass is not present here, just to leave the space at the sub bass. And you can hear it very, very present on the side. And then the overall bass sounds like this. And it sounds already really special. So in the end, in the first part, I added some claps here. Very basic clap, but there's a trick in here that could help you. This time I've put a reverb on the clap, and then with the chain I've put on a Valhalla vintage verb, which is really short, but it has the function to stop it when the clap goes out. So I've added a Pro C2 for the sidechain, and the sidechain is linked to himself. So if you see here, I've linked to the same channel here. So the
the reverb is going up only when the clap is stopping. And then a little bit of C1, so the reverb can stop when I want, because all this processing is only on the reverb, so there's no affecting on the main sample. So with the gate, you can feel the clap that is interrupting at one point. Without the gate, it's going a little bit longer, so I didn't like the effect, and I noticed that in the original track it's kind of stopping, so I tried to replicate, and I'm pretty sure I did a good job. And then a little bit of kickstart, 25%, just to don't have much impact on the kick. Then for the second part, all the Meduza's tracks started with crashes that's repeating itself, so like this. Really housey crash, so really straight, and also the kick is repeating itself. And then all the main parts of the groove are coming into the track, so we have this ride, really smooth, these shakers. This time I've used a lot of samples from Noizu sample packs, which are really good for the house music. And together it sounds like this. And then I've added what matters the most in Meduza's track, so hi-hats, open hi-hats, and closed hi-hats, with the open hi-hats a little bit panned. As you can see, one depends on another one, because if you see, you don't have, without the open hi-hat, you don't have enough. But you can feel that also without the closed hi-hat, you don't have enough. So it's the perfect way to combine them together. Then I've grouped them just because I'm very comfortable to do this. With the closed hi-hats here and the open, both depends one on another, because if you see the groove without one of them, it will be really empty. So these two are really important. In overall, most of the track I do, and most of the track I find on Spotify. Then I've added some noise here just to have a good start of the second drop. Pretty simple downlifter here. And then I've added another chord, which is, this preset is meant to be a bass, but I used it like an overall chord, which is from a very good pack from Mo Fogg's library. And this is the preset, which is called Mo's Favorite, and it sounds like this. And it's giving me the crunchy I was missing. I was missing on the bass at first, EQ'd with a little bit of low cut and a little bit of high cut and a kickstart right here. So the second part sounds like this. The result is incredibly similar, even with the vibes and other stuff. Then the last thing I've added is a little bit of reverse. So I sampled this sound and I made it reverse here with a reverb 100%, so it goes a little bit less empty into the second part of the drop. And that's it, guys. This was the remake of Meduza Paradise featuring Dermot Kennedy. I really love the track, and I'm very happy that I found out some tricks that otherwise I didn't know if I didn't try to do something like this. So let me know if you like it. If you have any question or any suggestions, just drop down there in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive videos. See you next week with another big remake. Ciao!